Captain Joe Gugino. Right now we are in Winthrop. It is in Boston Harbor, on the northern edge of the Boston Harbor, across from the airport, and just about 10 minutes from downtown Boston. Here in Boston, I'm primarily 99% running charters for striped bass. I target them on spin rod, fly rod, live bait, top water. Love fishing for striped bass, specifically flying light tackle, whether it's open water, shallow water, boulder fields. It's such a cool fish, such a cool fishery because you can fish for them so many different ways. I've been fishing here on the North Shore. Get out of here. All right, so I've been fishing here in Boston's North Shore for the last 15 years plus, and started out fishing from shore, fishing from the kayak, fishing from the boat, and then eventually running charters. This is my 5th season with the boat, first full season running charters here. And I'm super excited about it. Been booked, people have been wanting to fish, get out there, but it's been a little scary. Population itself is overfished, and overfishing is occurring. Striped bass are an awesome fish. They migrate all the way from down from Maryland, all the way up past us here in Boston, all the way up to Maine. They get here in May, they stay through to September, October, and it's an awesome fish to target. But right now, with that species population being down and not a lot of recruitment coming in, it's scary. I'm not a biologist, but I do follow a lot and listen a lot, specifically to the American Saltwater Guide Association. They've been a great resource for me as an angler, as an industry professional, as a guide. They help educate everybody up and down the East Coast in a great, easy to understand way. And their tagline is better business through conservation. So what does that mean? To me, that the more fish that are out there, the more charters that I can run to have people go out there and catch them and appreciate them. And the more stripers that are in water, that it's better for everybody. I'm primarily, almost exclusively catch and release fish. I want to make sure to say, like, if we have a fishery that is well established and a healthy fishery, we can have commercial fishing. You can bring them home to eat. But right now, with that population not being fully established, or that population being healthy, we all need to kind of dive in together to make sure we protect that fish. And the hard thing about striped bass is it's managed by the ASFMC, Atlantic States Marine Fishery Council. All the states where they swim, technically South Carolina, North Carolina, or maybe not South, but North Carolina, north to Maine, and they all have a vote for how we manage those fish, which is tough because those fish, swim inshore, they swim offshore. It's hard to find that exact science, but we do know, again, from studies to see where they're at. And the hard thing is people look in their backyard and they're like, I had great fishing, the population's fine, but just one isolated area doesn't mean you have a healthy population coastwide. A healthy population of fish has anything from small fish, medium fish, large fish, extra large fish. And right now, as everyone's saying, hey, we have this great fish, I'm catching the more big fish than I've ever caught, but they're not looking at those small fish, they're missing them. I mean, it's this season I probably caught maybe 5, maybe definitely less than 10 under 25 inches, and very few 25 to 30 inches, which is scary. A lot of those times, like especially running charters, those fish that are blitzing and easy to catch, you kind of warm people up, get those smaller fish, work your way up to those bigger fish. But that smaller class has just been totally non-existent. It's been hard to notice. I haven't fished it for 20 or 30 years, but I do know, looking back at history with striped bass, this same problem came before and there was a moratorium. And that's scary. There was no targeting of striped bass, or there's no keeping of striped bass. That's not something that we want to get to, but if we don't change something soon, that might be our only choice. Cool thing about stripers is you can leave the dock and you don't know what you're going to see. You're going to look for a blitzing fish, you're going to look for fish in the rocks, you're going to look for fish on bait schools, you're going to look for fish just cruising. And the cool thing is that in one day you can target fish in so many different ways, and you can catch the same striped bass that you can in 2 feet of water and 200 feet of water, which is wild. You can also target them in different ways. I prefer to get striped bass on the fly if you can. If I can't get them on the fly, I want to get them on light tackle, so top water ideally, or small soft plastics or unweighted soft plastics. But the cool thing about striped bass too is you can get them on live bait, you can get them on mackerel, you can get them on bunker, and even that fishing way for them is super visual, it's super exciting, and it's fun to go catch the bait and then catch the stripers on them. They are aggressive fish, they're strong fish. They are just fun fish, right? Like, you never know, you can catch a 25 to 30 incher that's fighting just as hard as a 35 to 40 incher, you never know. And the way they take a bait, the way they take a fly, the way they take a top water is just so exciting. Every day when I go out, I mean, even if I'm not catching them, just watching those eats is something special. nothing like catching your first striper on the fly or catch striper at all. And I was excited to fish this week with Colby in town. I've been thinking about it, thought about it maybe last year getting him out, but we've been talking about it for over 6 months. And the cool thing is I say that to a lot of people, but I also know Colby's caught a bunch of fish. He was a guide, and so a little nervous to see like, hey, is he gonna catch this and really like it? But this was a crazy couple days. We had blitzing fish right away. We had fish in the rocks, and it was cool to see consistently the fish impress both of us. I mean, I have the opportunity to fish year round, but I never really have the opportunity to take a fly angler that dialed in for that much time of focused time. And it was a really special thing that even in this last couple days, even I fell more in love with the fish and more in love with the way to target them.
My name is Colby Acuff, and I am tired. I fished the last 3 days here in Boston with Joe Gugino, and we fished for stripers. And I gotta tell you, I wasn't expecting, I usually go into any trip without any expectations. This was one of the hardest fishing challenges I've ever done. I think these fish deserve a ton of respect and admiration. I got my ass handed to me for 3 days, casting as much as I possibly could with a full sinking line with a huge fly. I mean, to me, it reminds me of doing like pike fishing, but it's techie. I mean, not that pike fishing isn't technical, but it's like, it reminds me of super technical dry fly fishing mixed with casting a 10 weight with a foot-long fly, trying to move these fish. And not even to mention that, like, the very first morning when we get there, we drove into a war zone, drive in, and you got all these fish pushing all this bait up to the surface, and you're in 80 to 100 feet of water, but these fish are blitzing on the top, and they're sucking down bait fish 4 inches under the water. You can see them, and we were throwing poppers at them, and they were blowing up on the popper. And just like any bass or any of those kind of bass type fish, they eat by creating negative pressure by opening their mouth and sucking it in. So when they eat it, it's not even, trout fishing, you get a tug, but this is so much more of it's like a rip. Also super fun. This is also kind of like pike fishing, which I love, is they have their eyes on top of their head, classic predatory fish. They're underneath that bait. So sometimes you don't even see them until the, 35-inch fish turns on it. Just incredible, incredible fish. Honestly, if that fish jumped and tail danced, it'd be one of the most sought after saltwater fish on the planet, in my opinion. I don't know anything about it. I'm not even close. This is so outside of my wheelhouse, but just phenomenal. And, obviously, after being here for a couple days, the big thing is, I never saw a fish that was under 25 inches, which most people would say like, oh my God, that's incredible, which it is. I mean, if you're coming out here and catching, but the problem obviously with that is, where are they? You got to ask the question of, it's very rare that you go out and there's only large fish to catch and you're not getting into a smaller fish. They're not born 35 inches, so they got to be somewhere. And I think that's something that definitely raises a concern. And if people around here are concerned about it, then it definitely needs to be something that people are talking about. And if people are concerned about it and there's a real chance for, this fishery to have an issue with these striped bass, they better get on the horse, because this can't go away. I mean, if you fly into Boston, you have a layover, you can go fish the bay. And not only that, but you can go do this insane saltwater fishing. I mean, I really can't even put it to words. I really have not ever caught a fish quite like a striped bass. Phenomenal. I mean, the fight on them, talk about peeling line. I mean, they run like a GT, they chase like a pike, they eat like a Nile perch. I mean, they're just incredible fish. And honestly, I seriously cannot wait to come back and do it again. I had so much fun over the last 3 days with Joe, and Joe also, huge kudos to Joe, incredible captain. Even Joe got tight on a fish on our last day, which was fun to watch, and he's the guy for this. And man, I fell in love with striped bass over the 4th of July this year. I had a blast.